Cops wrongfully handcuffed black female general. Her call to the Pentagon destroyed their careers. Before we dive into this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. She was in full uniform, medals displayed, insignia gleaming, poised. And yet when she stepped out of her vehicle near a government building, two officers approached her, suspicious, aggressive, and dismissive. She identified herself. They laughed. I told her the real general wouldn't be a black woman with braids. Then in front of stunned onlookers they handcuffed her. But within minutes the officers' radios buzzed with panic, because the woman they just humiliated wasn't just anybody. She was a two-star general with direct access to the Pentagon. And the call she made from the back of that squad car would end their careers before the sunset. Major General Alana Greer had spent 28 years serving her country. She commanded overseas troops, advised presidents, and led humanitarian missions in disaster zones. Despite the uniform and her decorated history, she still lived with one truth for black women, even those who'd reached the top. Bias didn't just disappear that day. She was en route to speak at a classified briefing at a federal agency in D.C. The area was high security, parking was limited, her details had been delayed, so she parked and walked the final block wearing her service uniform. She stepped out of her government-issued car, gathering her files. That's when two local officers responding to a report of a suspicious person in military gear approached her. She greeted them calmly, offered her credentials. But the moment she spoke, one officer smirked. "Where'd you get that uniform?" he asked. She blinked. "Excuse me? You military?" he asked skeptically. "Yes, Major General, Department of Defense. I'm expected at a." The second officer cutting. "You got any real ID? Not this cosplay stuff." Alana stared at them. "Gentlemen, I'm not going to repeat myself. You are detaining a federal officer." But they weren't listening. Despite the gleaming insignia on her shoulders and the classified access badge hanging from her lanyard, the officers had already decided that she didn't look the part, so they pulled her arms behind her back and cuffed her. A crowd started gathering. A bystander began recording. And at that moment Alana didn't yell, she didn't curse. She leaned forward and said, "This will be a very short mistake with a very long consequence." Then from the cruiser's back seat, she made one call to the Pentagon. From her cuffed position in the squad car, Alana reached into her breast pocket, where she kept a secure direct dial satellite phone for high-priority situations. She called Lilaire General Royce, her superior at the Pentagon. Calmly and concisely she laid out what had happened, who was involved, and that it had all been recorded. Royce didn't hesitate. He immediately contacted Homeland Security, the Office of the Inspector General, and the Defense Department's legal division. What the officers had done wasn't just disrespectful, it was a violation of military protocol and federal law. And in light of the surveillance footage and witnesses, a clear case of racial profiling. 5 minutes later the two officers' radios crackled. "Units 43 and 45 stand by for immediate supervisor contact. You are to remain at your location and release the detained subject immediately." The sergeant on duty arrived within 2 minutes. His face turned pale when he saw who was cuffed in the cruiser's back. "General Greer." He stammered. "Ma'am, She was already stepping out of the car, hands-free, brushing off her uniform with quiet composure. The bystander filming looked stunned. One of the officers began to offer an apology. Awkward, performative. Alana raised a hand. "You don't apologize to salvage your job, you apologize when you understand what you've done." The supervisor nodded toward her. "Ma'am, please know this is being escalated to Internal Affairs and Federal Review." But the damage was done. That video, the one being filmed by a witness, it was already on its way to going viral, and the moment the Pentagon was looped in, the consequences accelerated, because Alana Greer was no ordinary soldier. She was a trusted federal asset, and she knew how to fight back by the book. By the end of the day, both officers were placed on immediate administrative leave. A full internal affairs investigation was launched. The footage, verified and cross-referenced with Alana's federal credentials, became part of a scathing report from the mayor's office and the chief of police. The Pentagon's official stance was swift and unapologetic. Major General Greer's treatment was not only a personal insult to her distinguished service but a breach of operational security. "It will not be tolerated." News outlets picked up the story. Headlines blared: "Decorated Black General Wrongfully Detained in Full Uniform, Call to Pentagon Ends Police Officers' Careers." And yet Alana never once sought the spotlight. She didn't hold press conferences. She didn't rant on social media. She went to her scheduled briefing later that day on time in uniform, head held high, because absolute power doesn't need revenge, it just needs truth and a platform. And Alana had both. A month later, the two officers were permanently dismissed, not just for this incident, but because the investigation revealed a pattern of similar complaints. Alana used the moment to push for mandatory training on racial bias and Military protocol for law enforcement agencies nationwide. She collaborated with the DoD to release a public service announcement. This is what a general looks like. This is what respect looks like. And this is what accountability must look like. The video was shared across bases, police, MIs, and government offices. Alana didn't want revenge, she wanted reform. And that's what she got, because this wasn't just about her, it was about every black woman who'd ever been told she didn't belong in the room, even when she built the room, and for every officer who thinks they can size someone up by the color of their skin. Alana Greer left them with one message: my uniform doesn't protect me from racism, but my rank protects others from your ignorance. Next time, think before you cuff your career. If you like the video, please subscribe.